All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ephraim saying hi by Yeshim Yeshua Hamashiach Barukata Adonai for now and forever. Shalom elect. Today's date is June 27th, 2021. Now, I decided to do this little lesson or observation, if you want to call it that, because it's something that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with or have experienced, right, and don't know what's really going on. And I dubbed it an oxymoron. I called it, sleep paralysis, the demon in our subconscious, right? Um, Many of you probably, right up to that very moment, probably never even knew when that happened to you, it had a name. But uh, when you experience that feeling of you're awake, you're aware, but you can't move. It's almost like you can kind of see, you know, what's you can see what's going on, but you can't move. And I mean, I don't know, it's a very debilitating and kind of scary feeling. I mean, I started experiencing it, here and there as a child, but of course, culturally, we used to call it, as black people, where I'm from, Charleston, we used to say that that's a hag. There's a hag riding you or whatever. Which a hag is basically another word for a witch, basically. But we refer to witches as hags in Charleston. I guess that's the Geechee way. I don't know, but that's what we would call it. And we would say silly stuff like putting a broom across the bed and all this kind of stuff. See, you start dealing with that and salt under the door. I mean, all kind of that's all like voodoo, witchcraft type stuff. And of course, we don't deal in that. But being honest, culturally, those are some of the things we would say for certain things in terms of because we didn't know why stuff like that would happen to us. I do even now as an adult. I still experience that. I mean, it's like you cannot move. I mean, it's like it's like you're conscious, you're up, and you're trying to get up, you're trying to wake, but it's like you can't move, you can't wake up. It's a very, very scary type feeling. Now, many of us believe that that's a spirit, that's a demonic spirit, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. What I've done in the past, and sometimes even now, I will, I will pray, right? I will pray. I mean, simple as that. Because anytime you have something like that, it feels like it kind of has a hold of your body, or or you can't control your body, or whatever the case may be. It's time to call on the Most High. Whether that's an Our Father's prayer, or whatever it is. It's praying is one of the things that's always been in my repertoire when that happens. So for many of you who have experienced that and still experience that, there is a name for it. It's called sleep paralysis. And like I said, I just kind of felt led to do it because I mean, my thing is I've been putting in a lot of work, a lot of videos, and I'm just gonna be honest with you all. Sometimes it's a little frustrating. I put out videos and then some of them don't really get any views or any real, you guys don't really talk or engage, and it's kind of frustrating because I put in a lot of work for these videos, man, and just to kind of have it go by the wayside, it's really frustrating. So anyway, I decided today I'm probably gonna start just talking about things that I want to talk about. I'm not gonna just subject myself to just being stuck in one area or whatever the case may be. I have a lot of interests, I have a lot of knowledge, and I have a lot of interest. So I'm going to start posting stuff that I want to talk about. I'm not going to, just because it's frustrating. I want everyone to engage, and some of you barely engage, or you don't say anything about what I post. You just kind of say something real simple, and I mean, it's frustrating, man. I'm just being honest. But I'm not going to stop posting. I think I'm just going to start posting more things that interest me. And so those that are interested, will engage and respond, and those that aren't, it won't. I mean, as simple as that. But yeah, I decided today that I'm just going to start posting what interests me, not just lessons on, because I feel like my time is all the effort and time I'm putting in. It's almost like it's not being appreciated in a sense. So that's cool. I mean, I'm not going to stop that, but I'm going to start posting more things that interest me, other things that interest me. So that's where I'm at. I just kind of wanted to talk about this because I don't even know if they have any type of support group, for stuff like this. I do believe that at one point they had a documentary on it on Netflix a while back. I mean, because the thing about it is it's kind of like a phenomena because doctors and scientists don't know why that happens to us. So we're going to talk about it, go into a little bit, and since you guys know now it has a name, we're going to kind of go into exactly what is this thing, at least from a medical / scientific standpoint. What is sleep paralysis? All right, so it says sleep paralysis is a symptom of a serious problem. It said sleep researchers conclude that in most cases, sleep paralysis is simply a sign that your body is not moving. Unseen night demons in ancient times. The old hag, hag, that's what he's called in Charleston. The old hag in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, and alien abductors. Almost every culture throughout history has had stories of shadowy, evil creatures that terrify helpless humans at night. People have long sought explanations for this mysterious sleep time paralysis and the accompanying feelings of terror and, let's be honest, fear. Because it's scary not being able to move. It's like you're conscious, but you're not conscious. It's a very weird, scary feeling for those who've experienced it and still experience it to this day. You know what I'm talking about. But it said, what is sleep paralysis? Sleep paralysis is a feeling of being conscious but unable to move. Right. It occurs when a person passes between stages of wakefulness and sleep. During these transitions, you may be unable to move or speak for a few seconds up to a few minutes. Some people may also feel pressure or a sense of choking. Sleep paralysis may accompany other sleep disorders such as narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is an overpowering need to sleep caused by a problem with the brain's ability to regulate sleep. Now, let me tell you about that narcolepsy. My ex had that. And narcolepsy is scary too, because you can literally be talking to someone and right in the middle of conversation fall asleep. Narcolepsy is scary because you can be driving a car, right? And I mean, God forbid, you can fall asleep. There's you just don't know with narcolepsy when you're going to fall asleep. And so my ex, she was real hard-headed, man. She had narcolepsy, and plus she also had a touch of sleep apnea, but she just wouldn't do the right thing. She wouldn't do what she's supposed to do. And I used to tell her, look, you need to use that CPAP. You need to use that CPAP, whatever the case may be. But anyway, narcolepsy, for those of you familiar with that, or you may be diagnosed with that, you know firsthand that narcolepsy is not a joke, because it can, you don't know when you're going to, fall asleep or whatever. All right, it says, when does sleep paralysis usually occur? It says sleep paralysis usually occurs at one of two times. If it occurs while you are falling asleep, it's called hypnagogic or predormital sleep paralysis. If it happens as you are waking up, it's called hypnopompic or postdormital sleep paralysis. As you fall asleep, your body slowly relaxes. Usually you become less aware, so you do not notice the change. However, if you remain or become aware while falling asleep, you may notice that you cannot move or speak. Yeah, scary feeling. During sleep, your body alternates between REM, which is called rapid eye movement, and NREM, non-rapid eye movement sleep. One cycle of REM and non-REM sleep lasts about 90 minutes. Non-REM sleep occurs first and takes up to 75% of your overall sleep time. During non-REM sleep, your body relaxes and restores itself. At the end of non-REM, your sleep shifts to REM, or rapid eye movement. Your eyes move quickly and dreams occur, but the rest of your body remains very relaxed. Your muscles are turned off during REM sleep. If you become aware before the REM cycle is finished, you may notice that you cannot move or speak. Now, this is the scientific explanation for what happens. Of course, as black people especially, we think it's a spiritual thing, a demonic thing, right? It says, who develops sleep paralysis? Up to as many as 4 out of every 10 people may have sleep paralysis. This common condition is often first noticed in the teen years, but men and women of any age can have it. Sleep paralysis may run in families. I didn't know that. Other factors that may be linked to sleep paralysis include lack of sleep, sleep schedule that changes, mental conditions such as stress or bipolar disorder, sleeping on the back, other sleep problems such as narcolepsy or nighttime leg cramps, use of certain medications such as those for ADHD, and substance abuse. Now, real quick, I want to just say for all of you non blacks or non Negroes that are listening to this presentation, I really would like to get your input. Culturally, what do you or what have you called this, or your people, or your from your culture has called this, and do you all think it's something spiritual as well? What's your approach to it? Do you kind of just take it as something that just happens sometimes, no explanation, or do other races look at this as a spiritual thing, or some type of demonic spirit that's trying to take hold of you, or whatever the case may be? I really would like to get the input of those who are non-black or non-Negro. I'd appreciate that, because I know how majority of us see it. I was raised, especially down here in the home of the Geechees down here in Charleston, South Carolina, where majority of slaves during the transatlantic came through. So I really would like to hear your input. So it says, how is sleep paralysis diagnosed? Well, that's an easy one. It says, if you find yourself unable to move or speak for a few seconds or minutes when falling asleep or waking up, then it is likely you have isolated recurrent sleep paralysis. Often there is no need to treat this condition. What are they going to do to treat it? That's my question. And here it goes. It says, check with your doctor if you have any of these concerns. You feel anxious about your symptoms leave you very tired during the day. Your symptoms keep you up during the night. And I will say this again, be careful with that running to the doctor thing, because their answer for everything is trying to put you on some type of medication. And, especially anything that alters your mind in any kind of way, just beware, just be very conscious and aware of, just to kind of stay away from that, especially like those stuff, the medicines they give you to supposedly combat stuff like, so-called mental disorders or whatever. Be very careful about that when you get on those type of medications, right? Because long term, those medications can be harmful, I think. So just be very careful. I'm not giving you any medical advice. I'm just speaking my opinion on what those behavioral type medicines can do to you long term, especially if you've been on it for a long time and you trying to get off of it or whatever. Just be very, very careful with running to the doctor with every single thing that happens to you, because they want to give you pills for everything. Pills to go to sleep, pills to wake up. I mean, it's just like pills, right? So anyway, it says your doctor may want to gather more information about your sleep health by doing any of the following: ask you to describe your symptoms and keep a sleep diary for a few weeks, discuss your health history, including any known sleep disorders or any family history of sleep disorders, refer you to a sleep specialist for further evaluation, conduct overnight sleep studies or daytime nap studies to make sure you do not have another sleep disorder. Now they say, how is sleep paralysis treated? Interesting. It says most people need no treatment for sleep paralysis. Yeah, how can you treat something that you don't know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen? How do you treat that? Treating any underlying condition such as narcolepsy may help if you are anxious or unable to sleep well. These treatments may include the following: improving sleep habits such as making sure you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night, using antidepressant medication if it is prescribed to help regulate sleep cycles. See, I was just talking about that. Be very, very careful with those antidepressant medications. I'm telling you, because long term, man, especially if you get on it for a long time, trying to come off is hell. It's a living hell, right? So just be very, very careful. Those antidepressants are, I get some people feel they need to take them or whatever, but I'm not a fan of them. And again, if you do, just be very, very careful. Ask all the right questions. Do your research on them. The great thing about Google, whatever your doctor gives you now, you can Google it right away and see exactly what it is, what it does, the heart, the potential side effects, all that, right? Because it's rare that a doctor will tell you all the side effects of a medication that they prescribe for you. It's rare. They just tell you, oh, okay, this is what you got going on. This is what I diagnose you as. Take this, once, 2 times a day, whatever the case may be. And they rarely tell you about the side effects of that medicine or what being on it long term can do to you. So just keep that in mind. All right. It says treating any mental health problems that may contribute to sleep paralysis, treating any other sleep disorder such as narcolepsy or leg cramps. See, this particular article is kind of approaching it from a mental, like sleep paralysis is a mental thing, right? So again, you have to be very careful about that. A mental health problem. I don't agree with that. But again, see, these doctors and scientists, this is coming from their perspective, because see, they're not going to say stuff like, oh, this is, you're dealing with, demons or demonic spirits trying to take hold of you, or whatever. They're not going to talk like that. They're not going to say stuff like that. So they use these terms, mental health and, antidepressants to potentially treat it. And, oh, come on, man. Picture me taking a doggone antidepressant because, I have an episode of sleep paralysis. That's ridiculous to me. And finally, it says there's no need to fear nighttime demons or alien abductors. Yeah, well, it's easy for you to say. If you have occasional sleep paralysis, you can take steps at home to control this disorder. Start by making sure you get enough sleep. Do what you can to relieve stress in your life, especially just before bedtime. Try new sleeping positions. If you sleep on your back, and be sure to see your doctor. There you go, the doctor again. If sleep paralysis routinely prevents you from getting a good night's sleep. And of course, the source I'm reading this from is WebMD. So of course, I understand, all the medical and the doctor. Yeah, right. I get it. Well, I appreciate the information though, but ultimately, I wanted to give, talk about this so we can kind of spark, some conversation, some dialogue about it. Let me know if any of you have experienced it. Do you experience it now? What do you do? Does it come on often? Like, let's talk about it. All right. So hope you all got something from this. And like I said, to many of you, you finally have the name for it. It's, because for a long time, I didn't know it had a name. Right. So yeah, it's called sleep paralysis. But let's talk about it. Let's see, see how many of you have went through and still go through it. And what do you do to kind of help it, if anything? And what do you do to come out of it? All right, this is Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying hi, Yeshua HaMashiach, Baruch Atah Adonai. Until next time, Shalom, Elect.